Bienvenidos a Lincoln West School of Global Studies. I am Irene Javier, Principal of Lincoln West School of Global Studies, and we welcome you to our first commencement ceremony. Today's event celebrates the graduation of the first cohort of graduates at our school. At this time, we request everyone to please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the singing of the national anthem. We all say, "I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all."
Oh, say, can you see? So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, land of the free, land of the free, in the home of
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, administrators of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, Honorable Judge Holster, graduates, staff, family members, and honored guests. We welcome you to Lincoln West School of Global Studies' first commencement ceremony. It is my honor and pleasure to stand before you on this special day. As the two students can attest, they had their fill of me over the past 4 years. Our respect and admiration grew for one another. As we raised the educational and personal expectation for this class, I soon recognized the real potential of these students. Just passing classes and staying out of trouble was no longer passable. Critical thinking, collaboration, innovation, in a life centered around service is our expectation. To the graduates, current and future students of global studies, this year is quite a year of uncertainty, of challenges, yet this is a year to celebrate. Whether or not you realize you are a Wolverine at one of the most challenging and unique times in Lincoln West history, in our country's history. Our world is turned upside down and rapidly changing around us, and the educational system is adapting to those changes. Even though change can be frightening, the exciting part for me to see is how easily and effectively students adapt to these changes. We have navigated the transformation and the new school design of Lincoln West School of Global Studies, and I can truly say that we are better off now than before. Our success would have not resulted had these graduates not set the example for the school and led their fellow students. As teachers and school leaders, we recognize that our students' struggles are our struggles, and our students' successes is our success. The sleepless nights, the heartaches are well worth it. We are committed to Lincoln West remaining a source of pride for our community and our city. Let there be no mistake, the shared successes of the class of 2020 has given the school and the community so much to be proud of. The class of 2020 has earned significant amounts of college scholarships and grant monies, amounting to approximately over $500,000, in addition to the Say Yes to Education scholarships. We continue to send more students to colleges and other post-secondary options. Our graduates will continue on their educational path next year. 86 students, 26 colleges. I've seen amazing things from the student body at Global Studies, especially from the senior graduating class of 2020. I often wonder myself how this group of students and teachers respond so positively to the changes, and I find myself coming back to the central theme: leadership. You are all leaders who are capable of achieving amazing things, both independently and collaboratively. And remember that leadership comes in all shapes and sizes. It does not take a big act requiring a lot of time and attention to display leadership. I challenge you to become role models to the incoming 9th graders who are watching us today to witness your success. They are the class of 2024. Not only I am impressed by the leadership displayed by the students, family members, and staff, the loyalty you've shown to one another is something everyone in our community can be proud of. Many moons ago, this group made a commitment to support and stand beside each other. I've seen you commit to an everlasting promise to our fellow Wolverines that make me so proud of you. I renew my commitment to my vow to the students and families to have and to hold from this day forward, for better and for worse, for richer and for poorer, in COVID-19 and in health, to love and to cherish, till graduation do us part. But our work is not nearly close to being completed. Our ultimate goal is to achieve academic success for all students and to continue to maintain a safe learning environment for years to come. I hereby challenge the class of 2020 to continue the good work you have all started at Global Studies. Remain active at Lincoln West. Come back and tutor students in need. Become mentors to upperclassmen. In order to sustain a vibrant learning community, we need examples such as you to model success. And to the families of the graduates, thank you for entrusting your children to us. I challenge you to remain active in the Lincoln West community. Volunteer your support. Even though your child has graduated, your interest in the school remains vital. I hope the families appreciate that a strong high school that produces productive and well-informed citizens is essential to community improvement. On behalf of my fellow school leaders and myself, I would like to thank all of the teachers, counselors, support and building staff, security officers, community partners, and volunteers who have given their all to our mission. Our school cannot succeed without everyone's support. All parts of our system rely on one another, and thus, no single part of the learning community is more important than another. If our students are to achieve, we must all achieve. We share one common goal: student success. Again, it is my honor and pleasure to stand before you today and present this wonderful group of citizens of the world, Lincoln West Global Studies graduating class of 2020.
Good evening. It was a very great honor when Dr. Javier asked me several months ago to be your graduation speaker. But clearly this is not the way any of us planned it to be. This is not an ordinary time, so I'm not going to give an ordinary graduation speech. Dr. Javier asked me I'm really not sure what I had planned to say, but whatever it was, I'm not going to say it now. I've thought very hard about what a 68-year-old white guy can say that will have meaning to a group of 18-year-old men and women, mostly of color, on their high school graduation. I definitely want to congratulate each of you and your parents, your family members. This is a big occasion, and we're all sorry that we've got to celebrate it the way we are, and I can't be there to greet each and every one of you individually, but we're in a pandemic. Lincoln West is a wonderful school. I've been fortunate to be at Lincoln West a lot of times over the last several years. My staff and I have been coming to learn with Ms. Wick's class as part of the 3 R's program of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association, Rights, Responsibilities, Reality. We've been talking about constitutional rights, some legal issues that get litigated in federal court. We've also spoken about your future, and hopefully we've made a few good suggestions to help each of you. I've also had the privilege of conducting naturalization ceremonies the last couple of years at Lincoln West. And I remember the first one was scheduled, and there was a shutdown blizzard that morning, and I barely made it into court. And of course, on the radio coming in, I learned that all of the schools were closed, and I figured, well, that's the end of this naturalization. But just to be safe, I made a call to Lincoln West and got to Dr. Javier Ms. Wick. She said, "Oh no, Judge, we're on." So there I was, and the only thing going on at Lincoln West was that naturalization ceremony. I've hosted you in my courtroom, and I think a number of you got to see me conduct a criminal proceeding, either a change of plea or a sentencing, and I hope you learned a bit from that. This is a very special school, Lincoln West Global Studies, and you're all very lucky to have been part of it. You have an unusual schedule year-round. You may not be aware that the traditional 8-9 month schedule we have, most schools have, it dates way over 100 years ago when most of Americans were farmers. They lived on farms. All the kids helped their folks on the farm, and they were needed in the summer for farm work, and that's why we have this schedule. Well, guess what? Most of us are no longer farmers. And why we still have this schedule, it's an anachronism. It doesn't work well. Guess what, kids? I remember I forgot a whole heck of a lot of what I had learned in June by the time September came around. And it took a couple of months to get back to where we were. And we do it every year round, every year. And so you look at all the time we lose trying to catch up to where we were. Well, you don't have to do that at Lincoln West. This makes a lot more sense. You've got a special curriculum. So you've all been the beneficiary of that, and I know you're the first class to graduate, so I congratulate all of you. Exactly 50 years ago, my education, my schooling ended suddenly and prematurely, but for a different reason. But there are some parallels to today, and that's really what I want to talk to you about for a few minutes. I was a freshman at college 50 years ago. The spring semester was drawn to a close. Our country was divided and polarized after a decade of crisis and conflict. First we had the Civil Rights Movement, then we had the assassinations of President Kennedy, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Robert Kennedy. We had the Vietnam War and the anti-war movement. Then on May the 4th, 1970, exactly 50 years ago, 4 students were shot and killed by Ohio National Guard troops on the campus of Kent State University. Nearly every college campus in the country erupted. Many of us had been marching and protesting for some time, but this was different. Students like us were being shot and killed. I joined hundreds of thousands of people in May 1970 going to Washington, D.C. I think I took a bus from Boston and went overnight. And what I remember most, this was my first encounter with tear gas. After the very peaceful march and rally, I was going to board the bus to go back to campus in Boston. And I saw where my bus was, just across a big field. But I couldn't get there because the police had put a huge amount of tear gas into the air. I figured, well, tear gas, I can manage it. I took a couple steps in and no way, had to turn around and end up walking several miles around all the tear gas to get to my bus. I was fortunate enough to get back. When we got back to school, almost all the colleges in the country shut down for the year. No more classes, no exams, the semester ended, and we went home for the summer. School did resume in the fall. I hope schools will resume this fall. But times were not the same. We were all very conscious of the risk and danger when we continued to march and protest against the Vietnam War. The country was incredibly divided and polarized. There was no middle ground, and those on either side demonized their opponents. If you were in favor of the war, you were a fascist. If you were against the war, you were a communist or a communist sympathizer. No middle ground, and no one spoke to each other. No one spoke to each other, no one listened. Just a heck of a lot of yelling and shouting. If you flew the flag, that meant that you supported the war. All right? I was a very patriotic person then. I still am a patriotic person. I fly a flag every day in my house. But I would not have flown the flag then. Because if you flew the flag, it meant you supported the war in Vietnam. Parents weren't speaking to their children. We were two countries, not one. Very sadly, my generation is passing on to you and your generation a country as badly divided as the one that we inherited. And on top of it, we're confronting a pandemic with COVID-19. And of course, the polarization and mistrust is interfering with our efforts to combat and overcome this pandemic. We got two armed camps. One camp says, hey, we gotta slow down, we gotta be safe. The other is saying, I don't want any infringement on my freedom. We wanna go back, do everything we did before, and you can't tell me what to do and what not to do. We're gonna have a presidential election this fall, right in the middle of this. And I believe most of you turning 18, if you're turning 18 before November, as I guess most of you will, you are eligible to vote. I want you to promise me that you vote. You've got to register. It's very simple and painless. Just go in and register, give your name and address. Then you'll be able to vote for our leaders at the state, local, and national level. I don't think there's been any time in my lifetime where it's more important to vote. Our very lives are at stake if we get this wrong, how we respond to this pandemic. We desperately need leaders who can do what you've been doing at Lincoln West in the School of Global Studies. Carefully researching the facts, testing your assumptions, working collaboratively, not being afraid to admit you've made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Only a fool keeps doing the same thing over and over again if it's not working. No one expects perfection. Listen thoughtfully to people who have a different opinion. Guess what? They might be right. We won't be the same when we emerge from this pandemic. We won't be the same as individuals, as families, nor as a society. Things are going to change for all of us. We're going to work differently. Guess what? One of the good things of the last 3 months that we've learned, we don't all have to be in the same place at the same time to work. Millions and millions of Americans, like me, have been working remotely. I've been coming to court 1 day a week. One person of my staff is coming 1 day a week. Everyone's been working remotely. We've been doing everything we need to do in court except for jury trials. And that isn't a function of the fact that we've been working remotely or here, we just can't do them safely. But the court's been going. Many businesses have been going very efficiently. Managers have realized that their employees are working just as productively at home. They're saving all of the time and energy commuting back and forth. Our air, one good thing about this pandemic, our air is much cleaner because all of the gasoline that would have been burned and consumed going into the air, people driving back and forth to work, guess what? It's not happening. So a lot of employers are realizing that when we get through the pandemic, we don't need everyone in the same place at the same time. So we'll figure that out. We're going to travel differently. All right, Americans have loved to travel by car, by plane, boat, whatever. Well, we're going to have to be a lot more careful. All right, it's going to be a while before I'm going to want to get on a crowded airplane again. I assume the same for you. Lots of people, my kids live in New York City. The only way most people in New York City don't have cars, they get around by subway. Guess what? You can't socially distance on a subway car, so it's going to be hard to figure all that out. We're going to hopefully relate to each other differently. Each of you will need to use all the tools that you've learned at Lincoln West, and all the knowledge to navigate this new society. There won't be any easy answers or solutions. I'm not going to give you any. You're going to have to figure them out yourselves. We're all in this same boat together. In my opinion, freedom and responsibility go hand to hand. I attended the naturalization ceremony. I always talk to our new citizens about the rights, the freedoms, the privileges of new citizenship. But I also discuss the responsibilities. One without the other doesn't mean anything. You've got the rights and freedoms, you also have the responsibility to exercise them properly. If I say I'm free to do whatever I want and act accordingly, I'm endangering you and everyone around me. We are each other's keeper. We are our brother's keeper, and particularly in a pandemic. And we have to exercise our freedom responsibly so we all get through this. So I want you to remember what each of you have learned here, and that knowledge to make the world a better place. And one thing I would like you to promise me, that somewhere in the God willing 50 or 60 years that each of you are going to be able to work, that you do at least one stint of public service. You don't have to be like me. This is my 44th year of public service. I started my public service July 1st, 1976, right at the bicentennial. So I'm not suggesting that any of you spend your whole career in public service, but you'll have an opportunity to serve. And guess what? People are very critical of our government. Often the criticism is justified. But each and every one of our leaders was freely and fairly elected or appointed by someone who was. So the government is us. This isn't Iraq or China or Syria or Russia. The government is us. So we will rise as high or sink as low as the men and women willing to serve. And I hope some of you have the courage to run for office, because we need good people who are willing to run. But those of you who say, look, I don't think I'd be a great politician, well, you'll have the opportunity to serve in an appointed position. The opportunity will come, so say yes when you're asked. So again, I want to congratulate each of our graduates, their families and friends. I apologize that I have to be conveying this virtually rather than in person, but I'm glad I have the opportunity to do it. And thank you for listening, and congratulations to each and every one of you, and may each of you go from strength to strength.
Congratulations to the 2020 graduates. I know that this graduation is not the way it's traditionally done, but I don't want you to lose sight of the significance of this moment and the work that you put in to get here and your family's work. So again, congratulations on your graduation.
Class of 2020, congratulations. You've made it. This isn't the graduation that any of us expected. Normally at commencement, I would be asking you to think of the toughest times you've ever endured and asking you, when you think you've reached as high as you can go, to reach higher. But COVID-19 has brought the worst that any of us have experienced, and you have not only survived it, you've thrived. There are people out there who have claimed that you're the lost generation. They are so wrong. I can't wait to see the renaissance that comes out of your experiences. The poetry, the art, the music, the plays, the stories that you'll write. Those that'll go into government and politics, either because you want to emulate what we did well, or because you want to fix what we didn't. Those that will become scientists to cure the next plague that strikes our world, or those that enter the medical field to cure and treat and help people when they're in need. Or maybe those who will choose teaching because of the teachers that supported you through this school shutdown period. Whatever it is, you will be a renaissance not only for Cleveland, but for Ohio, for the country, and for the world. I am so proud of each of you. This truly is the most difficult thing you will experience. From here, it's only easier. So when you forget that, please do remember to reach down inside of yourself, stand up, and reach higher. Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Good afternoon, students, teachers, administrators, parents, and friends. I'd like to start off with a quote from John Green. One day, you're 17, you're planning for someday, but then quietly, without you ever really noticing, someday is today. And then someday is yesterday, and this is your life. It is actually hitting me that I am graduating high school. I never thought I would be in this position, yet alone to be able to attend the Ohio State University. The idea of going to college seemed so far when my senior year first began, but that someday is today. When I look back on these last 4 years of high school, I'm pretty sure everyone experienced personal challenges like I did. Before senior year, I struggled a lot with depression, and I hate that word with a passion. I never thought I would experience it, but it impacted me negatively, and I decided I needed a new scenery, new people, new experiences, and so I left everything that I knew. I decided to transfer to Lincoln West School of Global Studies. Spending my senior year at Global Studies, I realized how much friendships really mean. I learned that no matter where you come from, the color of your skin, or how you look doesn't matter, because in the end, we're all friends. Global Studies is a very diverse school, and I genuinely love it. It's my senior year, and I wanted to start something new, and that's what I did. I created a daily vlog of videos called Senior Vlog. In the beginning, it was just meant for seniors, but I just started to gain friends from all different grades and flipped the script. I kept the name Senior Vids, but defined it as a diary of my senior year with my friends. Before the pandemic happened, I planned to gather all of the videos that I have taken from September to May and make a big montage for the seniors as a gift for graduation. The project was cut short, but I completed it. And when looking back at all the clips, I not only saw friendships, but a very diverse family that became mine. I thank my friends and teachers, especially Ms. Cruz. You're a mother figure, not to only me, but to other students, and we thank you for helping us overcome obstacles. Despite what we're going through now, I believe each and every one of us are destined to be great. Remember, we are more than our GPA. True measurement of intelligence begins with strong friendships and kindness. Seniors, our generation has struggled through countless times, from school shootings to this year's pandemic. But look, we're still here. I encourage you, class of 2020, to continue to pursue whatever dream you desire and prove your haters wrong. Follow your own path, learn from your past mistakes, conquer the world. If you struggle, remember that you can always ask for help. It doesn't hurt. Remember, you're not a rock, you can change your environment, and you can move. I cannot imagine what would have happened if I stayed and never transferred to Global Studies. I'm glad I took the risk, I'm glad I believed in myself, and that anything is possible. Thank you all, congratulations on this huge accomplishment.
Hello Global Studies students and staff. During the 4 years at Lincoln West, I've realized some important lessons that I always want to follow. 2 of those lessons that I want to share being the pursuit of your dreams through passionate stepping stones and finding a supportive network to grow from. I realized that it didn't matter what we were being taught as long as there was passion behind it. Though there may be opportunities to more efficiently reach your dreams, there are no shortcuts. To succeed in life, we must work hard and do every little thing that can help us, no matter how small. It's important to remember that all your work leads somewhere. To make sure that no matter what circumstances or tasks you're faced with, you accomplish them with a positive attitude, because there's no benefit in doing something with a negative mindset. The second lesson is establishing a network that you can receive and give support to. The unfortunate truth is that there are many issues, challenges, and struggles in this world. As we venture into our future, we will most likely have moments where we'll feel overwhelmed and want to give up. Especially for all of us who will sadly face particular hurdles based on skin color, nationality, or socioeconomic background. A harsh but honest reality. Nevertheless, I believe that when you socialize and reach out to others with similar backgrounds, you can create a network that will lift the weights on your shoulders and make everything more manageable. Personally, I want to make sure that as I progress with my life, I find those that can help me grow and vice versa. In conclusion, I want to remind us all to pursue something you love, but not just for yourself, but for the well-being of others. Though it will be very tough to make the life of your dreams, it is completely doable with hard work and the help of like-minded people. There's a quote which I had in my locker that I think beautifully states what I mean. Wherever you go, no matter what the weather, always bring your own sunshine. Anthony J. D'Angelo. The world isn't a place of consistent fairness or equality, but we can build the portions we influence into what we wish to see. God bless us all.
CEO Gordon, class advisors, faculty, and staff, do you attest to the fact that these students here have satisfactorily completed the requisite course of study prescribed by the Cleveland Metropolitan School District and the Ohio Department of Education?
Board Chair Bingham, I certify that all the students here today have met all of the educational requirements of the Lincoln West School of Global Studies, the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, and the state of Ohio. These students are now ready to receive their diplomas.
Now, by the authority of the Board of Education of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, I have the high honor to bestow upon you, the members of the class of 2020, your diploma, along with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. On behalf of the Board of Education of the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, Mayor Frank Jackson, and CEO Eric Gordon, I wish to congratulate the men and women of the class of 2020, their parents and families.
Congratulations, class of 2020. At this time, I invite you to move your tassel from your right to the left to represent your moment of graduation.
Lincoln West, we sing thy praise. To thee our highest hopes we raise. Let us pledge our loyalty, united, strong, victorious be, leading through the years ahead with the blue and white and red. We will always do our best to honor Cleveland's Lincoln West.
Congratulations, class of 2020. You did it. You beat the odds.
I fly with the stars in the skies. I am no longer trying to survive. I believe that life is a prize. But to live doesn't mean you're alive. Don't worry about me and who I fire. I get what I desire, it's my empire. And yes, I call the shots, I am the umpire. I sprinkle holy water upon the vampire. In this very moment, I'm king. In this very moment, I slay Goliath with the sling. This very moment, I put that on everything. That I will retire with the ring. And I will retire with the crown. Yes! No, I'm not lucky, I'm blessed. Yes! Clap for the heavyweight champ, me! But I couldn't do that all alone. We, young money raised, grew up out in Baisley, Southside Jamaica, Queens, and it's crazy. Cause I'm still hood, Hollywood couldn't change me. Shout out to my haters, sorry that you couldn't remind me of everything they deprived me of. Put your drinks up. This is celebration every time we link up. Now we done did everything they could think of. Greatness is what we on the brink of. I wish that I could have this moment for life. For life. For life. 'Cause in this moment I just feel so alive. 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 I wish that I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment for this moment. I just feel so alive. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment. I wish that I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment. I just feel so alive. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment for life. I could have this moment.
Global Studies, please call the roll.
Stephanie Garcia, co-valedictorian. Felix Joel Latimer, co-valedictorian. India Negron, salutatorian. Damiana N. Rogers, with honors. Kyron T. Stevens, with honors. Joseph Darnell Beasley, with honors. Malati Tamang, with honors. Mwenda Fred Kipata, with honors. Jocelyn Leanne Yeager, with honors. Brandon C. Worthy, with honors. Yusra Abdirahman Aabi, Ali Al-Dosari, Aisha Al-Khaldi, Walter Alvarez, Samuel Antonio Anaya, Sean Kenneth Bailey, Arjun Bastola, Kiesha Ariana Battle, Enaje Jaquarius Beasley, Larissa Deshelle Bland, Iris Nashali Bonilla, Arthur Lee Brown, Janessa Ann Marie Brown, Ronnie Eugene Brown, Isaiah Louis Bryant, Sakina Bulumwengu, Brian Cabrera Rosario, Eli Javier Candelaria, Paola Caraballo Garcia, Anthony James Carlton, Narielis Contreras Guerrero, Malachi De Jesus, Eric Duarte, LaKayla Kanesha Eberhard, John William Gibson, Madison May Gear, Michaela Cassandra Harrell, Kayla Harris, Dalen Holt, Antoine Houston, Yan Irizarry Muniz, Sabrina Iways, Deidre Z. Johnson, Kalembe Kipata, Nathaniel Langford, Carlos Alberto Loriano, Keishla Marie Lilo Castro, Kenneth Lugo, Sujata Magar, Alisa Angel Mash, Jetsaika Isinet Medina, Ekundo Molandani, Marvin Morales, Orlando Muriel Rivera, Julita Nacaro, Axel Joel Navedo, Wilber Alexander Navidad Escobar, John Claude Nikonkuru, Abdu Nirishima, Anaya Leticia Ortiz, Jose Perez, Emerson David Perkins, Janik Perryman, Jocelyn Marie Pickering, Ashley Marie Quinones, Saradha Rai, Sujan Rai, Vasily Rahabu, Moavita Rahavu, Jansued Enrique Rivera, Jamilex Rodriguez, Julianette Santos, Darieris Sierra, Karma Singdan, John Thorsky, Dejanera Turner, Madeline Vasquez, Davy O'Neill Vega, Magdalena Velez, Kayla Jade Williams, Saad Williams,